Tammy's chatty or something.
Yeah, that's it.
I know, she never stops talking during this.
I wouldn't lengthen the meeting, would I?
Nobody says anything. We know how to roll our eyes.
As soon as we're fired up, we'll. Proceed.
We're ready.
Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the roll call show all present but Councilman Weaver. He's traveling back from family issue or outing in Montana, last I heard. Will not be able to attend. We do have a quorum though. Can I have a motion to go into executive session?
Do we still need executive session on personnel?
Believe we do.
We can have it.
Right, we can. So
If we get into executive session and if we feel the topics doesn't meet that, we can come back out. But I believe that the topic still,
okay.
I think still meets executive session
Okay.
status.
Well, I make a motion that we go into executive session for personnel.
Second.
Been moved by Councilman Demick, second by Councilman Zan, that we go into executive session for personnel. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same. Motion passed. At
6:02.
6:02. I have a motion going back into regular session.
So. Second.
Moved by Councilman Hartke, second by Councilman Demick, that we go back into regular session. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Both same. Regular session at 6:19.
I have
6:20. 6:20 it is. Let's talk about the Shoshoni water system boil order.
Do we need to do any action on our executive?
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, if we have an action, please do.
Go ahead.
So I'd like to make a motion that we create a new job position for a wastewater and water operator, temporary.
I have a second on that.
I'll second it.
Been moved by Councilman Demick, second by Councilman Hartke, that we create a new job position as a temporary part-time wastewater and water operator.
And sewer. Right?
You said
Wastewater,
Oh,
wastewater and water.
oh, right.
That was intended to be on sewer. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
I
Aye, all same. Motion passed. Shoshoni water system boil order. Do we want to start or do we want to take comment from the audience, or since we have an experienced person in the audience?
Does Buddy want to comment?
Sorry.
Yeah, well, I can give you an opportunity to comment on, if you want to comment on the boil order.
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, I will say, I think Jamie handled it fairly well, you know, I mean.
Come on, identify yourself.
Okay.
Bud. You bet. Thank you.
Bud Boyle. Main thing I'd like to say is I think Jamie Gathers actually did a hell of a job with
Mhm.
taking care of the situation, being
Yes.
dropped on him like it was, you know, so
Yes.
a big data boy to Jamie,
Yeah.
I mean. so-
And I would also like to personally thank you for jumping in, coming off your sick bed and coming helping us Friday morning.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
No, you were very, very helpful. Jamie worked hard. I mean, it was,
Yeah,
yes.
You know, and like I say, I went out there, couple of days mixed up yesterday when they were out there putting it in, because I had some questions and Jamie couldn't answer them, and, there's good people in this town,
Sure.
Besides them being out of water, I was out of water too, I enjoy having water, so, yeah,
No.
I felt that, least I could do was at least,
No,
give my
really
knowledge, so, but
Appreciate
yes,
your
a
help.
big thanks to Jamie. I mean, I
You
think
bet.
he did a hell of a
Thank you.
job, so,
Yeah.
thank you.
Well, we want to talk a little about our boil order. We had a low pressure in our system, and the EPA called the boiler. We put out notices about that, but the EPA at approximately 4 p.m. on Friday called the town and said, we put a boil order in place. So we did that. We had already, per Buddy's suggestion, we started our sampling Friday, even though we didn't know had a boil order coming and really did not expect a boil order. But we got our boil order and proceeded forward. We continued our sampling. We sampled all through the weekend and continued on. We flushed our lines yesterday, and this morning we have I think 11:42. We had a notice from EPA that they had released the boil order, even though they hadn't had formal written notice of the lab results, but we had a verbal. And they said the way everything was handled, we had, I believe, praise from the EPA on how we handled this whole situation. They said we did a good job, and it's just things like this happen. You know, one of the things that caused this was either a lightning strike or a power surge. So not only did we lose our pump that was online, we lost our SCADA system, which would have automatically started a pump when the water level got so low, I believe 12 foot or 10 foot or something like that. We'd have an automatic, it would kick in that would prevent this. You know, that's something we need to really look at in the future, if what we can do to try to prevent this happening again. You know, but it just, I think, rises up to the cause of the boil or part of the cause. You know, we definitely need to continue to do more work on our water system. But I would like to, we brought up several months ago about an emergency warning system that the town purchased. And I'd like Chris to talk about that, because he brought it to council to see what we thought, and the council voted to purchase the program and install it. Could you talk a little bit about that, Chris?
Let me share it. So last year, we instituted the Text Me Gov, and I know that I talked about at the council meeting. I don't know how much you remember, but there were some flyers that we passed around town as far as the post office, but we also sent them with the water bills. And then also in the mayor letter referenced them again. And as what they are is ways that you can report issues directly to the town. It comes right to the employees that it's predisposed. At the time was Buddy and me as well, from anything from questions on or complaints on water issues, sewer issues, traffic issues, crime issues, anything anonymously, you can do that. But it also had a feature where you can receive town message notifications. And that was the big thing of why when we talked about this was the biggest thing. When something happens, we can send out a mass message. I had 3 people sign up for that. 3. So this was the main mechanism to instantaneously get out a message. And so I've also had citizens that came in that were upset that we didn't use a reverse 911 to contact people. So again, that's what this is. We now have 23 people signed up. So I think this has shown the usage of it. And I believe those 23 did receive the notification when this was lifted. I don't know, Bud, I don't know if you signed up for it on your phone. I think it's just your work phone that we used, wasn't it? So, but this would allow that to have that instant messaging and constant updates on what's going on for the whole town or anybody outside of town even. And I'm going to resend this message out to everybody. I hope we can encourage more people to sign up for it. It's very simple. I showed Joel how to do it in about 3 minutes, and he was able to show other people how to do it. So if Joel's able to teach other people, it's that easy. It's very simple. And it's
A lot of confidence in me, doesn't it? No, but it is.
It's simply sending a text message to the number on the flyer. And then when it gives you a response, if you want to sign in to receive notifications, you just text in yes. And that's all you have to do. And you're done. You don't have to worry about it again. And then if we have a message or anything that we need to send out, it will go to everybody that is subscribed to that. And you can opt out if you want to too. You just text a number and it'll say opt out and you opt out.
I think it costs the town about $2,000. It's free for all of our citizens.
Correct. So I think that would have been a lot more positive on getting messaging out than relying on Facebook, word of mouth, and trying to contact people, and it's just a lot more efficient. And I think that could certainly be encouraged as a way to do this in the future. Lessons learned from this.
Yep. Yeah. That's exactly that. That's one thing when we're talking your lessons learned. how we can do things better. And that was something that Chris brought to us, and we did put it out there, but we didn't use it.
I mean, I can lean the horses to the water. I can't make them drink.
Correct.
But I think that the utility there is there. And I think maybe trying to explain a little bit better and why we need to have this after this might help to get that out there. So I just want to retouch on that and just try to explain. It is a good thing to be informed. And this is one easy way to be.
It's good fires, tornadoes. I mean, anything that we need to get information to the public.
Biggest thing I heard about it was the lack of communication. It was only done on Facebook. Not County 10, not the radio. I've talked to, what was it, Jeff, the sergeant,
Yeah.
and, we'll go about going around, talk to Jody Lang about going with the fire truck with the speakers out. If you only have 3 people signed up for prior to this,
Sure.
that was the biggest complaint. People weren't bothered by they understood the well went down, it happens all the time. But the question was, the only method of communication was on the Facebook, and that was the biggest concern that and I was at the well with Jamie a little after 8 o'clock. And he told me at that time, he said, we're gonna have a boil water order. He said, I don't know when, but we'll have it. He knew it right then at that time.
Yeah, I think there was a delay in communication from that point before I heard anything, and then the EPA, of course, what they called, then I knew. Because he was obviously dealing with that, so I wasn't in direct communication on that. But I believe that at the time, I think Buddy was out there as well. And I don't think that because of the nature of what occurred, it wasn't, as far as I'm aware, it didn't appear at that point to require a boil alert. So there was not that, I guess, absolute. It wasn't absolute that it was going to happen as far as just trying to walk back up.
My understanding of what happened, it did not meet the criteria for a boil alert. And we did not think a boil alert was going to be called. With talking with Bud, with talking with DEQ, with talking with rural water. EPA finally called back. I think I talked to Jamie maybe near 2 o'clock, I'm not sure, 1:32, then called back near 4 o'clock and issued a boil alert. But when I went to Casper hauling samples, I wasn't anticipating that we were going to get a boil alert. We were just being precautious. But the EPA explained to me the criteria is for over an hour or more with under 15 PSI. And we had, as near as I could tell, 15-minute-ish or in that ballpark range, reduced pressure. I could attest for about a half hour that I knew they had pressure on both sides of approximately a half hour that I had pressure in my house. But that was I asked for the criteria of, and that was what was explained to me by Kyle St. Clair, our EP representative for this area. But the EPA scientist that made the call was Aaron, probably Aaron on the extra safety. That was, so we were in it, so we would continue on, but it didn't meet so it caught me by surprise that we had it. But we'll strive to do better the next time. It would help us help the public if we get people signed up for this. Sort of help us help you type thing. think this is a good thing and we'll work hard to make things better. The good thing, we never had one bad sample. They all came back good. And there again, like I said, appreciate you coming. You weren't feeling good. You were sick, but you came and helped us. And we need, Jamie worked very hard, did a good job. He just doesn't have your 20-some years of experience, you know? So, but that was, we got through it as a team, and we got, like I said, you helped us, appreciate it. Appreciate, you know, everybody chipped in and did whatever we could. The staff here in the office and everywhere else, so.
Well, hopefully in the future, any other things like this, we can make improvements on this and use as a way to do it better next time. If there is, hopefully not a next time, but whatever it may be, to try and get the word out without frightening people until we know something, but at least starting to get the word out, to get it out there without having to determine that this is what it is if we don't know yet, but this might happen. And with water or any other issues. And I think we can definitely do a better job of that, so.
Any other comments?
I move we adjourn.
I'll second it.
Been moved by Councilman Bill that we adjourned. Second by Council Lady Hartkey that we adjourn. Any further discussion? None being, all fair say aye.
Uh,
Aye. Both same,
6:37.
6:37.